attempting to eradicate all wizards? Hey, brother! Okay, we talk a lot about Voldemort and his mission towards immortality here on the channel. His quest to secure the Philosopher's Stone, interactions with the likes of Unicorn Blood and Nagini's Venom, Horcrux after Horcrux, the devotion to overcoming the prophecy, the quest for the Elder Wand. Voldemort has a singular mission towards overcoming death, and for so much of our own glimpse into the wizarding world, his mission is focused on destroying the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord, aka Harry.
What?
And this makes sense, right? Harry is, after all, the hitch in his plan that he's otherwise spent decades preparing for. I mean, if nothing else, our guy has put in the work, right? Like tracking down precious artifacts like Slytherin's locket, Hufflepuff's cup, the diadem of Ravenclaw, and the Gaunt ring, making symbolic and significant kills all along the way to fold into the creation of each of these Horcruxes. Then he intensively and meticulously builds defenses around those precarious objects that contain a piece of his soul, essentially ensuring their safety for always and forever. And all in all, the timing of the prophecy was nearly perfect to round off his collection of a 7-part soul. A challenger to the Dark Lord emerges. What a finale, what a final step. Voldemort would become the all-powerful, immortal, supreme ruler. No one could stand in his way. All he has to do is destroy this little defenseless boy.
I am the chosen one.
No, you're a little boy, Harry. And obviously, we know how this goes. Peter's betrayal, Lily's sacrifice, Voldemort's downfall. But here's the question that I've been stuck on here of late. Voldemort is fully and completely set back by Lily's sacrificial protection. It wasn't something he anticipated, a branch of magic that he was aware of but simply doesn't subscribe to, which of course is love. And so his plan is delayed significantly. But what would have happened if he had simply defeated Harry that night? What came next in his plan? Would his pureblood mania drive him to lift all of wizardkind up above the muggles? That was, after all, Grindelwald's plan. Or, and this is what really got me thinking, do all other wizards become the last remaining threat to his reign of power? Today, we must ask the question, would Voldemort have eradicated all of wizardkind? Hey, brother! Yo, I want to give a huge thanks to someone who came through our meet and greet line on our Midwest leg of the tour that we just finished up, because they asked me this question, and at the moment I was like, that's a good thought, but I don't know where to go with it. But this is me knowing where to go with it. So if you're you, identify yourself in the comments. You did good. Voldemort's endgame is an odd question because we, the reader and audience, spend our entire relationship with the story assuming his chief objective is destroying Harry Potter. But from Voldemort's perspective, things are different. What we interpret as an epic saga is to him but a mere speed bump on his road to power, dominance, and of course, immortality. And as an audience, we tend to joke that Voldemort is a pretty crappy villain because in the end, he failed to take over a high school, which to be clear is still true and hilarious. What a moron. We're laughing at you, good buddy. But also, just like defeating Harry as a baby, this was never meant to be the challenge that it truly is. Harry isn't the end-all be-all. It's just the hurdle standing directly between him and success. So let's try and take everything into consideration that we know to be true about Voldemort and use that to try and work through what he might have done had he actually been successful in defeating Harry as a baby. All other things being equal, you'd think that that whole thrice defy element of the Potters suggests that infiltrating their home would be a task. But other than overcoming the Fidelius charm, it's unfortunately a breeze. James ended up being zero opposition because he's completely unarmed, and Lily was only as challenging to defeat as Snape's request to spare her and her refusal to step aside. It was already a walk in the park, and Harry is an unarmed, untrained baby.
It's just a baby.
Out of context, people are like, he lost to a baby? He did. Yes, spoilers. But I'm going to take a brief pause right there to let you know that today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. It is that time of year again. The days are getting shorter, and sometimes not getting my fix outside, partner with it simply being dark, can make it feel like Dementors are on the loose. This is a great time of year to simply reach out to friends, family, or loved ones. Just let them know that you're thinking of them. Which sounds like simple advice, but I sometimes will talk myself out of this. Like, wow, it's gonna sound so random, just out of the blue, being like, I'm thinking about you. Like, it's so dumb. But one, it isn't. When was the last time somebody told you they were thinking about you and you were upset about it? My guess, Never, unless it's that one ex and boy, why I oughta. I'm just kidding, that hasn't been a problem for a very long time. That's not the point. The point is therapy can be the same way. It can feel like you need a little extra courage to just make that first touch. But for me, once the ball was rolling, the real concern in my head was, why didn't I do this sooner? I'm a huge fan of therapy. It does make a difference. So this month, don't wait to reach out. Whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself, BetterHelp makes it easier to take that first step. And our viewers get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/super. That's betterhelp.com/super. Link in the description down below. And now back to the video. Success on this night would have allowed him to complete his mission of a 7-part soul, to secure his version of the most powerfully magical form of immortality. But from here, I have to imagine that he wants to 100% the game, right? Like, he needs to eliminate all threats to his power. And with the defeat of the Potters and Sirius's subsequent downfall, the Order of the Phoenix is left in shambles. So what threats remain? Dumbledore surely is on that list. He was, after all, the only one he ever feared, but just like Harry, is just another battle inside of a greater war, right? A war that, to be clear, Voldemort intends to win. Here's where things get interesting. After Dumbledore falls, assuming he can be defeated, the next greatest threat to your power is simply the next most powerful wizard, right? And I'm not sure where or who we may bestow that particular honor. It could be McGonagall, Scrimgeour, Slughorn. They seem like obvious candidates. People who probably aren't the same tier of threat as Dumbledore ever was, but certainly still some measure of opposition, and now that the chief domino is out of the way, may as well just tidy up anyone remaining, right? And you can start to see how dangerous this scene would start to look. But then you also have to remember Voldemort's tactics. In his original rise to power, he recruits the likes of giants, dementors, werewolves, and other dark creatures. But what's ironic about this army that he's assembled is that his pureblood mania would suggest an active dislike for all of these creatures, regarding them as half-breeds, lesser. I'm talking about your niece, Bellatrix, and yours, Lucius and Narcissa. She has just married the werewolf, Remus Lupin. You must be so proud. There was an eruption of jeering laughter from around the table. Now, that's hardly a mic drop moment, right? Like, Voldemort disliking anyone remotely different from what he regards as the standard, like, we get it. But the thought remains the same. He certainly doesn't plan to partner with any of these creatures once they're no longer useful to his regime. If he successfully wears down and defeats true opposition, then he no longer has need for those beings and creatures, and would likely turn on them very quickly. And his checklist would be working out beautifully. He began as one of the most powerful wizards of all time. He created his own immortality and destroyed all key opposition in his way. He doesn't need to get that much more raw power. And as such, I think he would begin culling on the basis of some version of an order of operations. We know this playbook. It's exactly what we witness in Deathly Hallows with the Muggle-born Registration Commission. The Ministry of Magic is undertaking a survey of so-called Muggleborns, the better to understand how they came to possess magical secrets. Recent research undertaken by the Department of Mysteries revealed that magic can only be passed from person to person when wizards reproduce. Where no proven wizarding ancestry exists, therefore, the so-called Muggleborn is likely to have obtained magical power by theft or force. Normally, this step is taking place while Voldemort has taken control of the Ministry, but notably, Harry and plenty of opposition are still out on the loose. In this case, though, Voldemort has an absolutely clear path. He doesn't need to disguise his distaste for anyone of even remotely mixed blood. He can just weed them right out. This is where the sheer poor design of the pureblood mania starts to kick in. Even Ron, of all people, at age 12, realizes the problem while explaining the term mudblood. Dirty blood, see? Common blood. It's ridiculous. Most wizards these days are half-blood anyway. If we hadn't married muggles, we'd have died out. And we see an inside perspective on enough of the pureblood families to see how this impacts them all differently, but also largely still the same. Here's Sirius, for example, explaining his family tree. The pureblood families are all interrelated, said Sirius. If you're only going to let your sons and daughters marry purebloods, your choice is very limited. There are hardly any of us left. And here's Dumbledore on what remained of the Gaunt family. Marvolo, his son Morphin, and his daughter Merope were the last of the Gaunts, a very ancient wizarding family noted for a vein of instability and violence that flourished through the generations due to their habit of marrying their own cousins. And then there are the Malfoys, who, for all of their rhetoric, at least seem to have enough sense to avoid this particular problem on some level. The family has, however, eschewed the somewhat dangerous practice of intermarrying within such a small pool of purebloods. Pool of purebloods. That's gross. That they become enfeebled or unstable, unlike a small minority of fanatic families such as the Gaunts and Lestranges, and many a half-blood appears on the Malfoy family tree. And I know that I'm preaching to the choir here, but this is what we've seen time and time again throughout the saga, a population that almost has boring priorities, remain unseen from Muggle attention via the Statute of Secrecy, but then also the added challenge of operating amongst an incredibly limited pool of people with whom you may marry. A pool of blood, if you will. A pure blood pool of pure-blooded blood. People.
People blood.
People blood. Pools.
Nice.
Am I having a stroke?
Pairs.
What this means is you have to choose between protecting yourself from discovery and external opposition, or just wilt from within. And so the question we must ask ourselves is if this is a problem that Voldemort was 1, aware of, 2, concerned with, or 3, and this is the question that I personally find to be the most interesting, if it's the outcome he was intending. So let's start with the first of those, with his awareness of the situation, because he should be aware of the dangerous outcome of a pure blood only society because of his own origins and the squalor of his Gaunt relatives who he held no sympathy towards. Then there's the question of concern over the situation, which also seems quite simple. He is immortal. He has no need for heirs to himself to carry on his reign in his eventual absence. He is also not capable of love and does not have friends.
You just be like, and he's bald!
Got him. So, dating pool destroyed? No problemo! Although now I have forced myself to imagine Voldemort on dating apps. No. Ooh, speak snakes. Wow. Nagini, kid, look at this. She's a literal snake. Well, no, I'm just admiring her scales. Not I want to put like my soul inside of her or anything. You know, Nagini, I've been thinking about it. An 8-part soul does seem wise. Here's the real question. Which dating app would Voldemort use? Let me know down below. But that brings us to the big question. How does the endgame look in Voldemort's playbook now that he has removed his opposition? Dumbledore, Harry, the Order of the Phoenix, those he sees beneath him, the werewolves and dementors and all that, and taking steps to eliminate anyone who, in his mind, possesses dirty blood. Dirty blood, not a bad name for a wizarding dating app. You want some dirty blood?
Oh, God.
Nagini, I got a match on Sacred 28.
Backup plan, Sacred 28. Spoilers, the only people that can be on it? Them. Sorry, I'm off the rails, but the point is, blood purity has been his rallying call, the thing that the Death Eaters and his supporters seem to unite under. But remember, Voldemort himself is a half-blood. So is all of this just part of like a clever ploy? Find the deepest magical roots, artifacts, and weapons. Use those things and people to overthrow the wizarding world as it exists. And then from there, let the ground crumble beneath the very people he used to secure his position in the first place. All of this would even defy one of Dumbledore's sharpest observations. Don't you see? Voldemort himself created his worst enemy, just as tyrants everywhere do. Have you any idea how much tyrants fear the people they oppress? All of them realize that one day, amongst their many victims, there is sure to be one who rises against them and strikes back. Voldemort requires no one. He possesses all of the power all by himself. There are no wizards left to oppose him, and without that opposition, nothing stands in Voldemort's way to slowly and assuredly come to govern the free world. I believe Voldemort's true goal was to rid the world of anyone with enough power to oppose him. His intention was to destroy the magical world. Or it would have been, if not for the boy who lived. Now we're just spitballing, gang. Okay, so Immortality, 10. Like with the 10, but instead of like 10, it's like 10, like, well, like digits, like 1, 0, Immortality, you know, because like, you're a 10. Are you looking for a trusty steed? Head on over to... I already forgot what it's called. Farmers Only. Yeah. You don't have to be lonely at wizardsonly.com. Sorry, I meant .co.uk. Hexed. Just, that's it. Hexed. Snogwarts. LinkedIn. I like to think that Voldemort thought that GoDaddy was one of these, but that was just him being him. Like cheering him on, you know, like, Go, Daddy. Eesh. Malfoy family reunions. Y'all, thank you so much as always for tuning in to this week's episode. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any future Harry Potter action from us. If you'd like to see Dumbledore's big plan, it is quite lengthy and very detailed. You can check that out right over here. But otherwise, until next time, bye! And don't forget to eat cheese.